Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about Ansible playbooks. Ansible playbooks are the real power of Ansible. They allow us to run complex configurations, complex applications deployment. You can even use Ansible playbooks to run security related tasks like systems hardening, penetration testing, things like that. Alright, without further ado, let's get down to it. I'm on my Ansible controller machine. So the machine that I'm using to control my Node 1 machine over here, and I'm in Ansible directory here. To create our first playbook, we're gonna go to playbooks directory. As you can see, there's no file yet here, so we're gonna create a file called install packages, since in this first playbook we're gonna install some packages. Alright, so let's call it install packages YAML, and here at the beginning of a file we'll specify 3 dashes. These 3 dashes basically mark the beginning of a document. This is a YAML standard. This is optional, you don't have to put it here, but it's a good coding practice actually, so please stick with it. And down here we're gonna provide our host pattern. So we need to provide the host against which we're gonna execute our playbook. So as you know, we have our node1.lab.com host. And next we're gonna specify become yes, because maybe we will need elevated privileges to successfully execute our playbook. Next we're gonna provide tasks keyword. Tasks are basically modules that we're going to execute on our remote host. And since we're going to install some packages, we're going to use package module, but first what we need to do is name our first task. So it's a good practice to start description of your tasks with capital letter. So we're going to name it install some packages. Alright, and to install some packages, we're going to use the package module. Basically, the package module will use the underlying package manager. So in our case, it will be DNF. And here, we're going to specify the first parameter, which is name, and we're going to provide names of our packages. So let's say we want to install Git, we want to install HTTPD, we want to install MariaDB server as an example. Alright, so the next task would be configuring HTTPD, configuring Apache. Alright, so let's provide our description of the task. So let's call it start and enable Apache. Right. To do that, we're going to use service module. We need to provide name of this module. Name of the service, of course. So this HTTPD state, we want it to be started, and we want it to be enabled. That's right. And as the last task in our playbook, we're going to configure host firewall on our remote machine. So we're going to call it configure, actually let's call it allow HTTPS inbound traffic to public zone. To do that, we're going to use firewall D module, and it takes few arguments. The first one that I can remember of is zone. So we're going to specify public zone. We're going to specify the service, of course, HTTPS. We need to specify the state. Enabled basically means that we're going to accept these connections. We could specify disabled. In this case, it would mean that we basically would reject our connections. In addition to that, we want our rule to be permanent. Let's make sure that I'm typing correctly. Yes, and immediate. Actually, immediate and permanent go hand in hand. We want our rule to apply immediately. All right, so we're gonna provide yes here, and I think we have everything we need to run our first playbook. So let's save this and exit. All right, let me actually go back here because I forgot about one thing. We talked about these 3 dashes at the beginning to mark basically the end of your document, of your YAML document. You can use 3 dots here so that it's more readable. All right, so let's save and exit, and let's go up 1 level in our directory, in our hierarchy. Let's clear the screen, and to execute Ansible playbooks, we just provide Ansible playbook keywords, and we need to specify, of course, the path to our playbook. So, playbooks install packages. There we go. It should execute our first playbooks on the remote machine. So the very first thing that Ansible does, if we don't say it otherwise, it gathers facts on the remote machines. These would be things like, connected volumes, IP addresses of the machines, processor architecture, things like that. As you can see, install some packages has been finished already, service configuration as well, and HTTPS service configuration as well. All right, as you know, yellow would mean that there have been some changes. Green means that nothing has been changed. In this particular case, HTTPS was already allowed on that machine, so that's why it hasn't taken effect. That's why it hasn't been changed. So let's take a look here on my remote machine, actually, if Git has been installed. So we're going to specify grep, and we're going to grep for Git, right. There you go. And let's take a look if HTTPD is up and running. And let's make sure that HTTPS is allowed. Alright, I made a mistake here. I should provide 2 dashes here. There we go. Although it hasn't been changed because it had been already allowed before we started running our playbook. So basically that's it for today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to add them here under the video, and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and take care. Bye bye.